a large armada, flotilla, you can call it whatever you want, heading toward Iran right now, even larger than what we had in Venezuela.
Saudi Arabia has privately warned Washington that any display of inaction in the face of Iranian threats would only embolden Tehran and undermine regional confidence in U.S. deterrence. Saudi Defense Minister Prince Khalid bin Salman reportedly delivered this message directly to U.S. officials during confidential discussions, stressing the risk of appearing indecisive against Iran. The revelation was detailed by 4 sources cited by Axios, who were said to be present during the high-level meeting and described the exchange as frank but measured. Notably, Prince Khalid held talks on January 29 in Washington, D.C., meeting senior Trump administration figures at a critical moment in U.S.-Iran policy deliberations. Among those in attendance were Secretary of State Marco Rubio, War Secretary Pete Hegseth, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and General Dan Kane. Despite Riyadh's push for clarity, the Saudi minister left the meeting without a definitive sense of Washington's next steps toward Iran, according to the Axios account. Earlier, Saudi Arabia was among several U.S. allies that had urged then-President Trump to reconsider plans for a direct attack on Iran, citing fears of regional instability. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman reportedly warned Trump that any such strike could ignite a broader conflict stretching across the Gulf and destabilizing global energy markets. Following those exchanges, the Crown Prince spoke by telephone with Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian on January 27 in a rare engagement between the two regional rivals. During that conversation, MBS reportedly told Pezeshkian that Saudi Arabia would not permit its airspace to be used for any foreign military operation against Iran. Observers note that U.S. Arab allies, including Qatar, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia, have consistently cautioned Trump to exercise restraint and pursue diplomatic solutions over armed conflict. A Qatari royal previously reminded Washington that the U.S. remains a tenant, not the owner, of the Al Udeid Air Base, one of America's largest military installations in the region, according to Defense News. He added that closing the base would not harm Qatar much, but would cripple U.S. power projection capabilities across the Middle East. Separately, Abu Dhabi reportedly assured Tehran that its territory would not be used as a launch point for any U.S. or Israeli military action against Iran. Saudi Arabia's reported shift in tone toward caution followed what regional sources described as a sharp warning delivered by a senior aide to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Iran's Supreme National Security Council Secretary Ali Larijani has issued direct warnings to several Middle Eastern neighbors amid mounting fears of a U.S. military strike. Larijani is reported to have personally contacted senior officials from countries including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates to deliver Tehran's message of deterrence. According to sources familiar with the communications, Larijani warned that U.S. embassies and installations in those nations could be targeted in retaliation if Washington launches attacks on Iran. Iran has repeatedly cautioned that any U.S. military action would prompt retaliatory strikes against its American-aligned neighbors in the region as part of a broader defense strategy. Echoing that stance, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian reportedly issued a similar warning during a recent telephone conversation with his UAE counterpart. Pezeshkian declared that Iran would deliver a decisive and immediate response to any foreign aggression, reinforcing Tehran's position that regional states should avoid facilitating U.S. operations. Masoud Pezeshkian said, and I quote, "Iran has not and will not welcome war in any way, and sees war as benefiting no party. However, regrettably, Western parties have through their actions shown that despite their claims, they have no practical commitment to diplomacy and the principles of international law. Iran's approach is based on interaction and dialogue based on international law, mutual respect, and the avoidance of threats and force to resolve issues. Any aggression against the country and the nation will be responded immediately and decisively." Iran's latest warning to America's Middle Eastern allies arrives as President Trump authorizes the deployment of yet another naval armada to the region, further escalating military tensions. On January 30th, Trump told reporters that a big armada was being dispatched toward Iran from Venezuela, underscoring Washington's effort to demonstrate strength and readiness amid the growing standoff.
The country is really in great shape. We have a large armada, flotilla, you can call it whatever you want, heading toward Iran right now, even larger than what we had in Venezuela. It's still in front of Venezuela. The Venezuelan situation, the leadership is doing a very good job. We're very happy, and We're getting along very, very well. And we're inviting countries of the world very shortly. They're going to be starting to take the oil. We're going to be heading that with the country. And it's worked out really well. We're now sending actually a larger number of ships to Iran. And hopefully we'll make a deal. If we do make a deal, that's good. If we don't make a deal, we'll see what happens.
A follow-up. If Iran doesn't make a deal, is your plan to replicate there what you just did in Venezuela?
I don't want to say that. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about anything having to do with what I'm doing militarily. But we have a tremendously powerful fleet there. We have the most powerful ships in the world. We have the most powerful military by far in the world. We showed that on numerous occasions. I rebuilt the military in my term. If I didn't do, I wouldn't, I think, be able to say that. But I rebuilt the military, the entire United States military in my first term. And now we're building it bigger, better, stronger than ever before. I'm adding to it. We're adding something called a battleship. You would find this interesting. You know the old-fashioned beautiful battleships? And we're adding up to 25 of them. Each battleship is 100 times more powerful than the battleships of the 1940s, those big, powerful ones with the guns, because of what the ships carry. But we're going to build 10. And then we'll see how we like them, and we're going to go and do another 15 after that. Could be up to 25 battleships, 100 times more powerful. Can you imagine that? And it's peace through strength. We don't want to use them, but if we have to use them, we will.
Mr. President, why are you
Will you speak to Please, in the back, yes.
Are you giving Iran any kind of deadline to make a deal before potentially taking
Only
military
they
action?
know for sure.
Have you communicated that to them
Yeah,
directly?
I have.
Do you have a timeline for when you're going to pull back potentially the federal presence there?
No, we'll see how it all works out. They have to float someplace. They might as well float near Iran. But it's a rough situation going on. So I stopped 837 people, as you know, last week from being hung. They were going to hang 830. It was all set. And I'm looking at the people behind me. They're saying, what kind of racing's a lot nicer than that. Right? They were going to hang 837 people, and I told them, if you do it, you're going to pay a price like nobody's ever paid before. And they pulled back. I appreciated that. But a lot of people are being killed, so we'll see what happens. I can say this: they do want to make a deal.